Hey, long time no see. Um, how are you guys doing? If you remember me from 3 years ago, welcome. Welcome back. If you don't, it's okay. You don't have to watch this video, or if you want to, or you might learn some things, or you might take some things down and conceptualize them in your own mind. So stick around if you want to. I'm twiddling with the cap holder for my ring light stand. So if I'm looking down, I'm not looking at lines. And also, I realize the washer's still going, so I apologize if you can hear that on the mic. It'll be done soon, so don't worry about it. But this is real life, guys. I'm not like an influencer who has time to like sit down and just have fun. Um, I was waiting for the. And by the way, my LED ring light that I have over here, I lost the adapter, so I had to wait for this light to come in to light me because it is so dark in this house. It's like it's not even fun. So I had to get a ring. I had to get a big ring light so it can actually light me and I look decent on camera. And it works really well. It's not LED. It's LDC, LCD. I forget what they are. The lights we used to use in the industry before the LEDs came out. These do a bit better in lighting, like an entire area. Like it fills it better because LEDs sometimes, even ring lights, they don't. They're kind of, if they're not like manufactured a certain way, like with the small panel LEDs on the actual panel of the ring light itself, or not like spaced out correctly, it doesn't look good. It looks very patchy sometimes on camera. So, and like with the space you're trying to light, it doesn't look good at all. So, I like this. It was high rated on Amazon, so I'm glad I got it. But anyway, so I got it. Here I am. Hi, hello. I'm just gonna go through some things because I feel like I need to kind of move on. I'm kind of relaxed right now too, which is surprising. Like usually I'm not relaxed when I do these videos on camera. And of course now my nose is itching, so someone's talking about me. A little superstition there, but um, you know, I went back to school 2 years ago for film and television production. I'm finishing soon. I'm going to graduate. I'm very excited, and I'm going. I feel like I'm going to be going into the area of digital media or new media, whatever you want to call it. Because I like that area. I like this space. It's my home. I feel like I know it very well. I'm passionate about it, so I like it. Why not work with something you're passionate about? Because it leads you to your dreams, I always say. Um, and I've learned a lot, not just like technical elements of film and television production, but like also like the media concepts, media study concepts that they're sociological in a way that most industry people know, like critics, people who review films, people who are, you know, contributors, like who do consulting for people, like YouTubers. Some YouTubers do get consulting behind the scenes. They should keep them on retainer because maybe they wouldn't have issues down the road, if you know what I'm saying, with all this drama. But whatever. Um, but I've learned a lot, and I think being able to learn and do it and conceptualize it and understand it, I think has helped me realize like the game that's played on the influencer side of YouTube, or even YouTube celebrities themselves, or whatever the hell we call them now. It changes so much. I don't even know what the hell we call them, but whatever. Um, okay, so 4 years ago when I started making videos on YouTube, I started getting look. I only had like 300 subscribers at the highest. Or no, was it 500? 400, I think it was. And I was getting like 100 to 200 views on videos, which was very good. I got 300, 400, 500, which I think for me, without like editing stuff, just like making a video like one take on a tablet and like uploading it and like talking about stuff like for an hour, like people were watching it. That's interesting. Like that's interesting, right? Because people expect like 10-minute to 15-minute videos now that are edited and whatever. It's not a bad thing. It's like a lot of work goes into it. Anyone who tells a story or is making a video on YouTube is telling a story, right? You are specifically creating something to tell a certain story or get a specific point across to your audience. So everything matters, right? It doesn't matter if you just do a one take and just talk. I mean, there's always emphasis on one big thing, even if it's just the editing or like what I'm talking about now, my ideas, my concepts I'm telling you right now, or a bit of equal both of those things, that Washer's done, if you just heard that. So, 4 years ago, making psychic prediction videos that were real. That was not fake. You know, if you don't believe in that stuff, that's okay. Maybe my atheist friend just claims I have very good intuition. He goes, you're very good into it. Wow. Now I am talking too fast. He said you're very intuitive. He goes, your gut instinct's very good. You know people. You know how to read people, which is fine. Hey, if that's what it is, then I have good intuition. But I didn't know anyone in L.A. That stuff I said was true. That was not made up. I didn't have insider scoop like, some of these people like T-Spill or Spill Such, whatever the hell her name is. I just made the videos, and I would do commentary stuff too, like that, because I liked it. I would like talking about some of these people and what they were doing. But then after I left in the summer of 2020, I realized seeing people do stuff, like just the things I'd always thought internally, like about certain YouTubers and how they acted off camera, was true. And I'm so upset I didn't stick around long enough to make videos and say I told you so, or at least be involved with all that stuff, because I would have had a field day with that. It would have been so much fun. But also giving the truth to people too, right? And at the same time, I'm glad I did it, because it helped me realize a lot of things, and going back, figuring out what I'm going to do going back to school, because I was 25 when I left YouTube. Or no, I was 24, but I was turning 25 later that year in 21. Like I said, I went back to school and did all this stuff, and here I am. But I think I learned a lot in these past 2 years. But going back to those 4 years ago, I would say things in videos that were true, but I wouldn't give out the entire truth of it, because I was afraid not so much about what the YouTubers would say about me, or they would get mad at me and I'm not worried about them blacklisted. Maybe a little bit I was worried about that. But I think I was more worried about what would happen to me if I decided to go into the industry. So I thought, well, I don't want to shit talk people. Because, you play it like a business perspective, like in the social interactions you have with people in the industry, right? I know that. But at the same time, you have to, in everyday life, you have to be nice and work with people, right? Because we live in a society, we have to actually interact with people on a daily basis. So playing nice versus being nice are two different things. There's a wide spectrum of that, how you can react to that. I know that, but I feel like for what I was doing, at least, was trying to keep an even keel, not try to push over the fence too much, for my own sake, rather than worrying about what other YouTubers were going to say about me. Because again, I think now I realize there's a whole world out there from these influencers, right? There are people out there who don't even know what YouTube is and how YouTube works. My professors, some of them only know what YouTube is and just learning about, because now there are articles out there now just being now written about Dramageddon 1 and 2 and 3, and Ethan Klein being in an article in Variety and the Hollywood Reporter, and how he was reacting to Logan Paul's video in the Suicide Forest, things like that. Again, things that these idiot influencers don't realize are now going to be talked about and used in education for the film industry, and the entire industry, just not film and television, but the entire industry itself, right? They don't know they're a part of a larger picture, but at the same time, there's so many parts to the industry that it doesn't really matter, right? I could be doing something completely different and not have to worry about what these YouTubers think about me, and then worrying about them talking shit about me behind my back. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. It's such a massive, so many concentrations in this industry. It's you could find luck anywhere if you really were passionate about something, So I was worried about that. I was worried about them getting mad at me about saying certain things, but at the same time, I did push it sometimes, and I would like to apologize to some people because I did say some things that were not, I don't know, that were just not nice. Talking about things that, talking about certain people's moms that was not nice, about Shane Dawson's mom, which I thought was not. I realized that early on, but after I deleted my channel, I just felt really bad about it. And, she doesn't deserve all that. Shane is a different situation, but his mom doesn't deserve that kind of stuff, she's not an influencer. That's her son, If I ever get the chance to ever meet her or him, which I don't think would ever happen now, but maybe no, that's not true. I'm not. I'm seeing I'm doing it now. I'm trying to like hold back. I think I will meet him one day, and it's not going to be a pretty sight because I do have some things to say to Shane Dawson, and I will talk about that in another video later. Um, but anyway, we'll talk about that another time. But and at the same time, back then when I was making those videos on my old channel, I was really afraid of saying stuff that could maybe jeopardize my future career, right? Because you don't want to burn a bridge and then walk across it and burn it and then not be able to walk back when you know you want to walk back across the bridge, so to speak, you know? I didn't want to burn a relationship with people or burn an opportunity for something if I didn't even have it yet, or if I could have it in the future and I screwed myself over, you know? So that was also the issue every day I would make a video, or when I did make videos every other week, I was so afraid of saying things that would be like, oh God, should I not do this? And so ultimately I deleted my thing because I realized I was going to go back into the industry, because I originally went to school for meteorology, didn't like it. Well, that's not true. I couldn't do the math. That's why I didn't like it. I love weather, but I just can't do it. I couldn't do the math classes for the meteorology for weather forecasting. I couldn't do it. So between being 21 to 24, those 3 years, I was figuring out what I wanted to do when I was to go back to school for. And I realized going into this industry now, hello, here I am. I'm going into it. I better, or at least at that point I was thinking, I might go into it, so I better like stop doing this. So I did. And so I shut down my channel, right? And I don't know. I was just so afraid of like screwing myself over, because again, at the end of the day, you have to worry about yourself. I wasn't worried about like making friends with these influencers. That was not my priority, right? Some of these drama channels felt like that. Spill Sesh or Spill Tea, whatever her name is again. And I don't know. I just felt like it would be a bad idea to do that, But over the past 2 years of being in school, I realized that's not the case. That being in YouTube, being in the industry, being in an area that's not so polarized, because there's so many people and so many concentrations in the industry, the entertainment industry as a whole, that it doesn't matter. I'll put it this way. There's a gray area between reality of what your personality's like versus your on-screen personality, of your career personality, right? And in that gray area is where things kind of are differentiated, in the sense, meaning things are a bit up in the air, a bit flighty, because there has to be that difference between what's going on camera versus what's going on off camera. Not just in people who are famous, but also people who work in the industry, like in production stuff, who are not famous at all. And I realize even for those people that there is and just in life too, I guess, like the way you present yourself in your work versus who you are in your personal life, right? Because at the end of the day, you're just trying to do a project, and it's not your personal life, which is where some of these influencers are trying to make their career their lifestyle, which doesn't work in the end, because we'll get to that in a minute, but that's not how it is. And I think realizing that when your mind is set to do when you're looking at it from a different mindset versus in your personal life, it's different. So I'm not worried anymore about what people think, or what people think of me on camera, or what people are worried about what I'm going to say on camera, these influencers and these YouTubers, because at the end of the day, I'm just saying you're only seeing a piece of who I am on camera, right? Who I am off camera, and how I act, and dictate myself to be, and what I'm doing in my everyday life and in my career off camera is much different. Like, I know I'm a good person and a decent person off camera. I can't speak for these other people off camera, these influencers and YouTubers, but for me, I know I'm not like that. And so I know who I am off camera, in my situation anyway. I'm talking about who I am on camera, or off camera, in my personal life, and in my life where I'm doing stuff off camera, and the way I lead myself, and the way I, what do I keep saying, dictate, the way I carry on in my day-to-day life is who I really am, and is more of a truer picture, more reminiscent of my character and my morality than it is on camera, because you're only seeing a piece of who I am on camera versus who I am off camera. Like, I know there's not, it's not the same. It's not connected like people think it is. So there's a separation. And I think being in school these past 2 years taught me that. Especially with how people reacted and talk about YouTubers like in my classes, which is just, it was shocking to me, right? Because I saw it a certain way, and people don't see things a certain way. But these people have lives off camera, unlike some of these people online who think there's nothing else like going on. But whatever. But yeah, so yeah, I'm not afraid to do stuff now like I was back then. And with that being said, I think because I'm passionate about this, would it help me lead me to a career? Yeah, absolutely. Would someone sitting down with me ask me questions like, how, like, you're still gonna get a sense of the person, right? At the end of the day, like, just because I'm acting nice on camera doesn't mean off camera that means like I will get a job or somewhere, right? Okay. Does this even make sense now? This is I should have just kept the first edit of this that I was doing, the first take. This is such a mess. This is the third time I'm doing this. But I guess that's more so in the industry too for us, because again, we're not going off of references well, you are, but more so like how you work and react with and work with other people on camera, or off camera in production. But at the end of the day, people still want to work around nice people. Like, you want to work with someone who's decent and nice and not like an asshole, right? Just because they might do a good job on camera does not mean they're good off camera. And so, just because of how I act or say things on camera does not result in what I'm going to do off camera, right? And so I realize that. And so I think a lot of these YouTubers don't know that. They don't realize that. There's a piece of things off camera because they're so involved with their stuff on who they are and their persona on camera, So I don't feel that way anymore. Now, I kept thinking about this over the year and a half that I was going to make this video like that I am now, thinking, should I do this? Should I not do this? Is it the right thing to do? Is it not the right thing to do? And I feel like it is. And I feel like I was doing myself a disservice by not coming back and doing what I want to do, which is this, because I love this. Because now I can build up a portfolio, but also interact with people and have fun doing this, and also help build my skill set and edit videos. And now that I know how to edit videos and actually put myself on camera and actually work a camera and do decent lighting, yeah, right. Have lighting. But it's just such a big world, and I think people get so polarized on certain things. But at the same time, because they know it's such a big world, they can kind of screw people over and manipulate their audiences. I think that's an issue too, and I want to talk about that because I like to talk about that kind of stuff. But I don't feel that way anymore. I really don't. I don't feel that way at all. And I feel like being told by my professors to actually put stuff out here like this, they're like, if you're passionate about it, then do it. Why would you not want to do it? And I was always afraid, because I would tell them what I just told you guys. I was always afraid that it was going to burn bridges. Like, that's not how it works. People want to know who you are in real life when they're working with people and interacting and hiring you for whatever it may be, right? Versus they're seeing, your work, but they also want to know how you work, how you interact and do your work off camera, right? So I feel like understanding that and conceptualizing it in my mind and seeing it in real time with my internship and working other places, I feel like I've realized that now, So I don't know. It's very fluid in certain situations. But again, there is a line for certain things. And I feel like I was doing myself a disservice at the same time of trying to like mask certain things so I wouldn't like piss people off, but also at the same time pulling in other things that really weren't supposed to be in my videos or even me talking about, if that makes sense. Because you're trying to gain what you lost or what you're afraid to talk about, so you try to pull in other things. I've seen other YouTubers do that in some commentary channels. But that's for people who are kind of figuring out what I'm trying to say without saying it too much in this video. And the thing is, too, if you're not in the industry like me, going to school for it and working in some areas already and interning, or a commentary channel or a drama channel who's been doing this for 7 or 5 years, whatever, how long, or a YouTube star, and you're just a regular audience member who like goes to school for like, dental hygienist, to be a dental hygienist, or you're just watching videos like when you're like off from work or whatever. If you're not in the industry and dealing with these kind of issues or like understanding how things go up and work on camera or like behind the scenes, like insider business to the industry, like the insider scoop, insider info is what they would say, I guess. It's hard to conceptualize all that because you're only seeing what's put in front of you. Because again, like I said, you're trying to tell a story. So you're altering things to tell that story on camera, whether it's a lie or it's not completely the truth, or at least reality, or at least close to a reality. It's always going to be a bit different because you're telling a story, because you're trying to get a certain point across. So I think a general audience wouldn't understand that. And so for people like myself who do understand that and can see things, like we can kind of pick things out, like, it makes more sense, but I'm saying this because I feel like there were things I was getting so upset about and not realizing that a general audience wouldn't understand after going back to school and understanding that, like, oh, we have to dumb it down for people sometimes. Whereas the things I was saying and revealing, or at least trying to explain, that no one was understanding before, was finally coming to light. And after I left, and I'm like, oh, that's because people just don't, they're not in the industry. They're not dealing with it every day. They're not used to doing something, So, and what I mean by that is, it's like, I'm not a dental hygienist, so I don't know how that would work. Like, when you're a dental hygienist, it's like, you're going, it's like riding a bike. You know what I mean? Like, once you learn how to do it, you really don't forget. And so when you're a dental hygienist, like, you know how to work, you know what all the tools are, you go in every day and clean someone's mouth out, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's that familiarity of being connected to something, right? Like you've been dealing with it so much and you're so close to doing it every day and doing it like in the process that you know how it works. So I feel like an audience member who just doesn't know the insider stuff, they wouldn't understand that, right? And I realize that technical connection versus the psychological and sociological pinpoint of that together in the industry, some people just don't get. And even though like the people on Twitter like to run their mouths and say things, I'm not talking about anything about me right now, but I'm talking just in general that I see on YouTube or on Twitter or X, like saying things in comments underneath people's like influencers like Twitter accounts, and like not problematic influencers, but like just influencers. I'm like, they just don't get it because they're not on the inside. They don't understand how it works, and that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. That's why we do this the way we do. That's how it works, And I think school and learning the aesthetic side of it with the sociological media studies, concepts of it, made me realize a lot of that too, But with that being said, I feel like I have a lot to say, and I want to say those things because I've realized a lot of stuff that happened to me, even though my stories versus, someone like another commentary channel that they've had experiences with other famous YouTubers and how they kind of manipulate them to use them. I'm not to that level, but I feel like my stories are still pertinent and I want to talk about them now. And I would like to do stuff and have fun with it too at the same time, like doing like satirical news edits and stuff like that is what I would like to do too, because why not? That's what I'm passionate about. I want to do it. So talking about this, I feel like frees up my mind to go and move on to the next phase. And I feel like I need to do that for me. It's cathartic, And I'm doing this too because I want people to kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm not even explaining this very well, and that's okay, but maybe someone will take something from this, even if they're not, a general audience member or just people watching just because they're, wasting time. They have nothing else to do. If you're an actual YouTuber or commentary channel or whatever, maybe you can kind of connect something from what I'm saying. I don't know. But I just feel like I needed to talk about this because I need to move on, And it's been sitting on my mind for so long, and I've been saying, yes, I should do this, no, I shouldn't, yes, I know, and professors and people in school saying, just do it. Like, it's not that serious, you know? And the reality of things versus the on-camera reality of things is not the same, which I'm glad I've realized, you know? So, I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to be having 2 channels. I don't know exactly when I'm going to be uploading or when I'll have time, but I'll be doing it periodically, and uploading stuff and talking about things. But I just want to say this, just kind of like throw it out there, and just talk openly, just kind of just going through stuff like I did without having to go into too much depth about it, or like worrying too much about getting a certain point across, if that makes sense. I feel like that's it. So I'm going to say goodbye and see you in the next video. Hope this made sense. Bye.